Laurie Hernandez on Broadway. How does that feel?
Oh my goodness, it's pretty life-changing. I never thought this would happen for me.
It's a big statement, right?
Sure is, sure is.
So, and Juliet, you're currently
Yeah.
at the Stephen Sondheim Theater. How does it feel to be in a Broadway company?
Oh my goodness, it feels so phenomenal. I grew up in Jersey, so like right under the nose of Broadway, and I was homeschooled, and of course had have a big sports background. So I feel like wanting to get into the theater world, it was something that I had to do on my own, and it was a love that I really created for myself. And being able to actually get out there and be on Broadway, it's a huge dream come true.
Not only are you from Jersey, aren't you like in the New Jersey Hall of Fame or something? Aren't you like one of the most famous New Jersey? I mean, that's what happens when you win gold in the Olympics. I mean, you know, you get in the fancy club. You got
You
to
have
go
sneak in, dip a toe in the water.
Yeah. So tell me about you. Obviously, you grew up in Old Bridge, New Jersey,
Yes.
right? And so, did you get to see Broadway shows at all, or?
It was talked about a lot
Okay,
in the house,
yeah.
but I didn't really have much time to go and see shows.
Right.
The first show that I ever saw was Hamilton when I was 16.
That was after the Olympics.
It was right after the Olympics. Basically, they had asked like, "Hey, you know what? If y'all could do anything, what would you want to do?" And someone brought up Hamilton. We got to see it, and I think that really opened my eyes. And I had done Dancing with the Stars after. We had a Broadway week. I did Chicago. I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is awesome." Went on to go and be a drama major at NYU, and so being able to audition for and Juliet and now be a part of it as Charmion, it's a huge dream come true. It feels like a full circle moment for me.
But when you were a kid, I know that you sort of got into gymnastics, sort of to find something for you to do, right? It sounds like you were a kid with a lot of energy. One of those kids.
I was a kid with a lot of energy, for sure. There was a lot going on up here. But I think it was one of those where I was just watching gymnastics on TV. I sort of pointed to the screen, looked at my mom, and was like, "Hey, can I do this?"
Wow.
And she was like, "If you really want to."
Like, I don't know, can you?
I don't know. Do you really want to? Are you sure you want to be upside down for that long? But yeah, no, my parents have supported every single thing that I've done with my life and with my career. So I'm very grateful.
It's funny because I hear that story a lot for people who went on to be Broadway performers. Like when they were kids, they sort of were put down that path. Gymnastics is like a different path, right?
Yeah.
But they're both similar paths, and it's funny that you're sort of like coming back, and now you're one of us.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people will meet me and they'll be like, "You have big theater kid energy." I'm like, "How did you know? What gave it away?"
But like, so the theater kid thing sort of is a now thing for you. So tell me about Tish, because I was really fascinated when I heard that are you about to graduate? Is
I
that-
graduate in May.
Oh, congratulations.
So wild. Thank you so
What's
much.
the journey been? I mean, that's pretty crazy to be graduating from Tish and be like, "Oh, and I'm on Broadway," and you're like, I know you had to negotiate for your graduation or something, right?
Sort of, yeah, just to make sure that I have the dates blocked out so I could go to my graduation, because
You need to show
I worked
off.
really hard for that, and I really want to go. I really want to toss my cap in the air, you know, but...
So what drove that decision to go to Tish?
Yeah, I had been doing gymnastics. I went to the games in 2016, and then I tried out for 2021. It didn't work out, and I ended up retiring pretty soon after and got into sports commentary. But I knew I wanted to live on the East Coast. I wanted to be near my family again. I had been living in California, and I also knew that I wanted to get into acting and entertainment. And I was talking with my agent about it. We were like, "Hey, you were homeschooled. We kind of have no background in this whatsoever." And it's exciting to have that drive and that curiosity. I've had it for something before, and I'm always ready to let my curiosity sort of lead. And we just talked about going to college, getting that education, being able to be in a space of learning again. And it was really important to have those last 4 years to do that. I've had some really incredible professors. My first 2 years were at Stella Adler Studio, so there's a lot of Shakespeare work that's in there as well. And
Wow.
I don't know, there's this idea that you could get really intimidated by theater, I think, and I just kept falling more and more in love with it. So I'm really glad about that. I took classes all of last year just because I was like, well, what if something comes during the spring semester and I have to choose between spring semester and graduating? And that was like an anxious drive for me. Oh my goodness, thank goodness I did that. Hey, thank goodness I did that, because all of and Juliet is happening, you know, during
So you basically
when the
got
spring semester
ahead
would be.
of like what you had to finish?
Yeah, I took J-term classes, I took spring courses, I took 16 credits during the summer, and then I took fall courses, and my last courses were this past January. So I don't know. My partner at the time was like, "Hey, our whole summer is like you going to classes. What are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing. It just feels right." Yeah, it felt right. Oh my gosh.
That worked out.
Yeah.
What would your gymnastics fans be surprised to picture you doing while as a student at Tish? Like we talked about studying Shakespeare. What kind of things were you actually doing in these classes?
Yeah, we've done a lot of, oh boy, we've done viewpoints, we've done animal work. I think animal work would probably be the most
Explain what that
like
means.
peculiar thing. So animal work is really just like for us, we got assigned different animals. That was a snow leopard, and I had to be a snow leopard for 45 minutes in a hallway. I love theater school. It's really great. Had a great time. But it's like learning kind of these behavioral characteristics, instincts, all those things, putting it in the body. And it's like, okay, if this is 100 and we dial this, up or down, what does that mean for character? Can you find character through the lens of an animal, through, someone who's a little bit more slippery or a little bit more quick on their feet? It's just an inspiration point. And I found that it's really helpful for different projects that I've done.
So what did you learn from your snow leopard side?
Learn from my snow leopard? Oh boy. Well, a lot of acting, which we know it's so physical, and I feel like my gymnastics background allowed me to tap into that. So, there's all the jokes of like, okay, sure, I was a snow leopard for 45 minutes, but like I really got to reconnect with my body in a way that wasn't demanding perfection, but was more so demanding character and demanding behavior and things that are, I can differentiate between pedestrian and drama and all of that versus this very like uptight, high in the chest and the ribs gymnast physical personality that I've just come to know so well. So there was a lot of breaking that down and relearning, and I'm really glad that I was able to do that.
Yeah, when I watched video of you in Rio, it is exactly what you just described. Like it's just real intense.
It's all up here.
Yeah, it's really impressive to watch for someone who has none of that. So I was actually wondering, like, what other kind of things did you have to sort of unlearn to become the kind of person that could jump into Anne Juliet?
Oh boy, well, a lot of the rehearsal process for Anne Juliet, I've just had some of the best like leaders. Romy Vixen has like just been so wonderful with me. She's the dance captain for Anne Juliet, and I've had Tiny, I've had Elena V. Like being able to work with those three in the rehearsal process has been so important because like we were just talking about, gymnastics is all up here and it's all about like posture and sort of being very stiff but graceful when you can be. And there's a lot of lines that are happening, and for Anne Juliet there's a lot of like hip hop movement. There's a lot of like a blend of different styles, and I think Jennifer Weber is just such a genius in that. But I had so much to learn in such a short amount of time of like, girl, we have to use our legs. We need to use our legs. I did not know how to like sit in the pocket and like, I can only groove so well. I can only groove so well on my own. I needed a lot of help for that, and they were so patient with me. So
wow, you did a killer sub-block tango on Dancing with the
Thank you.
Stars. Wow, that is so good.
Thank you so
And you
much.
obviously won Dancing with the Stars. That was right after the Olympics.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've seen that you have this ability. It's kind of, you seem like someone who can just kind of like jump into things and succeed. Like,
thank you.
I mean, I don't know. Do you think that you sort of learned early on just like the discipline to learn things? And do you find that you just really like, you just even talked about, ruining your summer last year for your partner because you were just like so dedicated to school. I mean, are you just someone who just like jumps into things intensely?
Yeah, I think, I'm learning to find the balance between really being fully immersed into something and sort of leaving everything else behind and being like, I'm free running this. That's what I did with gymnastics, what I did with sports, and it worked out. And I'm so grateful that I lived this life of pure dedication and tunnel vision to know that I kind of would love to never do it again. It was really aggressive and really intense. And I think the beautiful thing about acting and about being able to go to drama school was learning that art is subjective. And sure, there's no quote, quote, right or wrong, but there is an instinct that will guide. And I think the last couple of years I've been able to listen to that versus, literally looking at a code of points in gymnastics and being like, well, this degree is this deduction and this degree is this deduction. It's quite literally a textbook of perfection. And I think the acting process, and especially like the dance process for this, and understanding who is Charmion in the world of everything, and we talked about like she's an extension of Juliet and being able to move as a breathing piece with everyone. How can we assist and raise everyone that's on stage and tell this story in a way that is doing it the justice that it deserves to be given? And the exciting part about Charmion is that she has a lot of joy, and there's a lot of movement that comes from her body. There's a lot of communication that's coming from that. And so it's like, okay, I get to sort of blend gymnastics and blend movement with character work, and it's perfect.
And this is a big musical. There's a
Oh my
lot
goodness.
of dancing.
It's a lot. And listen, I've never done a musical before, so when we did the audition,
Wow, none at
and
all, nothing.
No, I've
nothing
never.
Okay, never. Okay.
They were like bringing sheet music, and I was like, thank goodness for drama school, because I know how to like put my music and cut it and put it in the way that I know is presentable. And let me tell you, the student in me felt so good when I left from there, and they were like, everything is really organized. Thank you, I'm new here. Thanks so much, I'm new here. Thank you so much. I was really stressed out about this, but yeah, it's my first time in a musical. I am ensemble number 2, which is like primarily alto sort of that's going on in there. But I had never done anything like this before, so it was definitely a learning process to be able to connect with that side of me, and then, you know, learn the dance choreography is one thing, and then learn the singing parts, and then have to like marry the two of them. I felt like as soon as I started singing while dancing, suddenly I forgot all of the choreography, and I felt like I had to start over. So lots of learning new things for sure.
You were talking about how precise, obviously, the gymnastics world is and the Olympic sports world. And I know, I'm going to play a little thing with you here, because I know that in gymnastics, every skill is rated from A to I.
Sure, yes.
Right? A is the easiest skill, and I is the most difficult skill. So I'm going to read you some of the skills that I feel like you are now dealing with in your new role.
Oh my goodness.
And you can rank them from A to I, okay?
Okay. Everything's an I.
Okay.
Everything's an I.
Walk. Everything's an I.
Everything's an I.
Everything's an I.
Everything's an I. We're done.
Okay, maybe not. Walking into the first day of rehearsal.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with a D. We're gonna go with +4 for this, because you know, gymnastics like 1, 10, 2, 10, 3, A, B, C, D. You get it. I'm gonna go with a D. I was pretty stressed out, but I also knew that the tone of the show, like, it's gonna be really difficult to be as strict and intense as like my gymnastics career into a show that the core of it is joy and connection.
Sure.
And so I was really, really nervous about the first day of rehearsals, and within 5 minutes I was comfortable and just ready to receive, because everyone was so kind and so patient and wants me to succeed. They want me to look good out there. So that felt really good. So
That's
D.
the secret about Broadway. Everybody just wants you to succeed, honestly.
I know, right? Don't you love that?
Okay.
Sports is different sometimes.
Learning Jennifer Weber combinations.
I think I'm gonna go with an I here. I think I'm gonna go with an I here. And that's a huge like cheers, respect, like bow down to Jennifer Weber, because there's a lot of movement that's happening that's like in parts of songs that in a first listen, I wouldn't even think that there was like a beat there or a moment that movement can happen. And it's like my ears are opened up to the sound because of the movements that are happening on stage. And it's brilliant. It's so brilliant. So it's like, you know, you can listen to the cast recording, but to go and see the show and see these little movements that pick up these special moments that happen, it's like you'd almost never catch them without seeing the breathing or seeing these quick little, there's little things. I'll be doing something, you know, and Remy will be like, oh, you have to like turn your hand here, or like, oh, tweak your hands here. And I'm like, okay, it seems like such a little thing, but when an entire ensemble does it together, suddenly you're hearing things that you would never have caught. So definitely a lot. Definitely I.
Okay, singing and dancing at the same time.
Also I. Hey, I'm new here. Hey, I'm scared. Yeah.
Enough said.
Thank you.
Remembering everyone's name in the cast.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with C/D.
Okay.
C for cast, because it's like the more that I'm doing things on stage, the more I feel like I'm picking it up pretty quickly.
I'm sure.
But there's a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Feeling cute in the costumes.
A. That's easy. That's easy. We did a fitting, and I was like, there's a couple different moments where, I guess for each Charmion, there's like different pieces. It's kind of tailored to whoever's coming on. And for Act 2, I had tried something on, and when I had done my put-in, everyone was like, oh, that's cute. And I was like, oh, this is new. This is new. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm new here.
Okay, doing 8 shows a week.
You know, I'll go with, Well, it's on a range. Like D or E, I think training so much for gymnastics has really stretched my capacity for what I can tolerate. So,
Okay.
but it's not to say that it's not hard. It's not to say that it's not hard. It's just
Okay.
my spectrum of.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about signing autographs and meeting fans?
Oh, hey, everyone's so kind. I think, again, the kindness and the core of the show being joy and connection, the fans are like that as well. So,
Yeah.
it's easy.
Okay. Going from the medal podium at the Olympics to a Broadway curtain call.
Let's go I. Let's go I. That's tough. I hate when everyone's like, oh, it's like comparing apples to oranges. Hey, this is apples and oranges. This is, again, just such a different environment, and so many different things are being asked of me. And this chapter of my life is one that if I could just redo over and over and over again, I would, because it's been so wonderful. But it definitely has been acclimating into new waters.
Yeah.
So thankfully, everyone's been so kind about that.
Finally, being a Broadway star, baby.
Oh, I guess, hey, I don't know if I'm a Broadway star. I'm just happy to be here.
You're a Broadway star. You're in Juliet. I'm so thrilled to have met you. How long are we in the show?
I'm here until June 14th.
Okay, so June 14th, 8 times a week at the Stephen Sondheim Theater. Thank you so much for being here. So lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to meet you.